What's up guys, this is Brian C and welcome to another Gunpla review, and this time what we have here today is Master Grade Gundam FAZZ. Okay, so there's actually another name for this, FAZZ. F-A-H-T-S. Yep, I actually got that information through Gundam Wikia, so I'm gonna leave the description below so you guys can check it out. Gundam Wikia. Okay, and another thing also is this is a variant of the Double Zeta. Well, before I go to history, let's talk about the build here before I go to history here. Okay, so I'm gonna start at the feet here. I'm gonna go all the way to the top. Okay, so building it wasn't actually that hard, no sore fingers. It does require some screws, which one I actually sadly lost, and I actually had to modify a nail and some washers a little bit, but overall it worked out perfectly. Oh, and super glue. Okay, so the feet here is actually quite wide. And let's turn this here for a second. Okay, there you go. Okay, so the feet here is wide, so it actually balances the weight here. But without the what do you call this, hyper beam cannon? Let me triple check that. Large Hyper Mega Canon. It will possibly fall back because this is actually kind of weak, and this kind of falls off also. So without the Mega Cannon, the possibility of FAZZ here gonna fall off is quite high. Yeah, quite annoying. Okay, so that's only the first issue. Now the second issue is the vents here. This vents here, I actually had to use a putty for each one to make sure it doesn't fall off easily, and it worked out well. Some minor problems, and it does require some panel lining to bring out its parts here for the rest of it. Now this is the outer armor. Inside you can actually turn it into a Double Zeta, and I'm gonna mention that later on. Okay, so this the smaller vents here for the kneecap will fall off, so use glue or putty. Don't use super glue because that's gonna ruin the kit. Just a regular Elmer's glue should do the trick, the white stuff. Okay, so the next part here is the back of the leg here. Now this one here is actually quite stable, so you got to push this in when you're building the kit, otherwise it's gonna fall off. Same goes for the front part here, but so far it's stable. Okay, now let's go ahead with the waist area. The more I move actually this kit here, kinda slowly doing a split. You got nothing to worry about. It's actually normal when you're moving it around. Okay, so so the waist area here, you can't actually bend it. Sadly, you can't twist the waist here due to the fact that the inside is the armor. What do you call that? The core booster. So you can't actually twist it. So sorry guys, you can only twist the legs to a specific degree to give that illusion that it's kind of turned towards the left or the right. Okay, so it does require a few panel lines here, and I actually made a mistake yet again, and I ended up having to remedy it using like an old charger here, but this is the original cable for it. Overall it worked wonders. So this is the outer armor here for the waist, and it's actually attached to the upper armor here, so you guys can see. And if you go to the back area, there's the connecting piece there. So So the back of the front of the waist is connected to the back waist here. The back skirt? Yeah, something like that. Okay, so now the side skirt here can be an issue. If I actually move it forward, since there's not a whole lot of gap, it will fall off. That's why I currently got this in this position right now. So far, so good. Now let's talk about the boost, the huge back here. Now the wings can extend, no issues. Really not that bad. You can move this part here easily. And this one here is actually the rocket pod. Now, now the Hyper Mega Canon here is actually attached to the other side here, but I believe you can actually move things around just a little bit, but practically it's a brick, just like a lot of people were telling me. Okay, so so for the weapon here, it's actually on top of it's attached to the back. You actually get to position the hand properly to hold the trigger. Another part also is, you'll notice this part here looks like a machine gun. There's an attachment there also that connects it to the Hyper Mega Canon. See? Which is not bad. Okay, so now for the chest area here, sorry I forgot to add, this is the rocket pod also. So you can take that off and put it back in place, so you got to be careful. And you get the headpiece here of the FAZZ that actually can twist and turn. Now this one here for the Mega Cannon, you can lift this up a little bit. Okay, now let's talk about the arms here. Okay, the arms, it's actually armored also, so you can take this off, double zeta, and you can take off this piece also where the double beam rifle is attached right now, and put it back in place. And the double beam rifle here can be, what do you call that? You can use the hands to hold it. There's a trigger actually inside here. And a few gimmicks here is the pilot here. Yeah, not bad. Okay, so mobility wise, it's gonna be limited. I'm really sorry to say that. Now you can actually move the arms here, the left arm, but if you get the Mega Cannon here attached, it will only give you limited options. Now if you do take it off and you want to pose it with the rifle here, well, it's back heavy, so you got to position it in a way where it's not gonna look awkward, and how do I put this? Make it look badass. Otherwise, you're gonna need a master grade action base to actually post this differently. Other than that, I actually enjoyed building this. Okay, so for the design, this is actually this master grade kit here is an old design, so there's not a whole lot of details here, as you guys can see. I've actually just added a few panel lines in specific areas to give it a little bit more detail, but overall not a whole lot. Okay, let's try, yeah, turn that lights off for a second here. As you guys can see here where I'm pointing, those are some of the details. Panel line here to the side, specific areas, you know, just to give it some life. Okay, other than that, not bad at all. Okay, so there are certain pieces, actually this is another rocket tubes, I believe. that I ended up having to take out. Actually, these are the parts that I actually had to take out from the right shoulder to attach the Mega Cannon. This is another rocket pod for the back here. Okay, now the next part that I'm gonna talk to you guys about is the core booster. I mentioned earlier there's a core booster inside. That's one of the reasons why it cannot transform. But we do have another one here, and this actually transforms also. I actually get the wheels attached to it, but you guys can guess it. Yeah. Not bad, huh? And you can actually just display it. You can even retract the wings here. You can just remove the wheels here. And I actually don't plan on putting this in the FAZZ here because we already got one installed. Okay, is there anything missing here? Actually, no, that's it for the review of the kit. Now, actually, no, there's a few things I do want to mention. First, now this part here can be taken off easily, hands down. Now the hands are very well built, no issues. Now there's gonna be some seam lines here that you're gonna have to work on, especially in the beam cannon. And there you go, it fell off. Okay, let's try and put that back there. Okay, just gonna be off camera here. Okay, so the peg is actually too short actually, just the peg for the skirt is just too short that it will fall off. It looks like I just lost that, dropped it off somewhere. Okay, but other than that, overall, it's a brick. I'm sorry to say this. This MG FAZZ is a brick. You can only position it to a specific degree. Unless you want to position it in a diorama, you're gonna have to put a lot of work in for this kit here. You can actually move the legs, you can move the arms, and possibly the cannon here. I'm a little bit of... God's sakes. See what I mean? Okay. And I thought I pushed that in as much as I can. Sorry for the word there. Okay, there you go. Yeah, looks like when I was moving it, it kind of gotten loose. But I believe, where was I again? So I believe you may be able to raise the arm here to a specific degree. But if you manage to do that, I'm trying right now, it actually kind of falls off there. So modifying this kit will require a lot of time here. Customizing it, definitely good. It's definitely a good long-term project, but doing it short-term, it's gonna be very, very hard. Okay, yeah. Sorry to break it to you guys. Okay, now let's talk about how this kit came to be. Okay, so I'm actually gonna be accessing Gundam Wikia, and I'm gonna mention also some of its weapons. So let's talk about the weapons first. So it's so FAZZ here actually got multiple fixed weapons and 2 handheld weapons. So it actually got 2 60mm Vulcan gun, 2x2 tube missile pod, 3 tube missile pod, 6 tube spray missile launcher, 2 2x8 tube missile pod, 18 tube missile pod, 2 back beam cannon. What the hell? That's a lot of missiles. And double beam rifle and large hyper mega cannon, which is this one here. Okay, so Yeah, that's actually a handful. Okay, so and the double beam rifle is this one here. Okay, so this unit was actually created as a test bed actually for the full armor Double Zeta Gundam. So I'm just gonna read this out loud. Like I said, this is from Gundam Wiki, so all information, go ahead and check it out. And I'm gonna simplify this. So the FAZZ here was actually created as a test concept for adding armor components to critical structure points, as you guys can see, the arms, the legs here. But then it's supposed to be for gathering test data. And in the process, it does not have any transformation feature. Now for the FAZZ here, if you remove the armor, you actually can transform this into Double Zeta. And I'm gonna talk about that part there without the armor. So practically the armor is already attached to the main body itself. So another funny thing also is that the High Mega Cannons, let's see here. So practically the High Mega Cannon for the forehead here is just a dummy placement. So it looks like it doesn't work. So just a replacement part. And Hyper Mega Cannon was also supposed to be a dummy also to test its balance. That's on the Gundam Wiki. And the back beam cannon, Double Zeta, this one here, it does not turn into a beam saver like the Double Zeta. And in fact, FAZZ here was actually the first FAZZ unit was actually what do you call that? Was actually built half a year before the Double Zeta was actually completed. And funny enough, there's actually 3 units that was actually built for the FAZZ, and it's actually been featured in Gundam Sentinel. Okay, so another fun fact about this is all 3 units were destroyed. Yes, all 3 units were destroyed by another Gundam, and this Gundam is called Orcs-013 Gundam MK5. Yeah. See, one of the disadvantage for this unit here is it does not have any close combat weapons. All it's got is long range weapons. So when a unit comes in close enough, it will be FAZZ will be destroyed, and all 3 units were destroyed. Really sad. Yeah, and even the pilots were killed due to the fact that it doesn't have any transformation mode. Yeah, and sadly, Orcs ORX-013 Gundam MK5, I don't believe they have released a kit for that yet. So Bandai, if you guys are watching this video, please consider creating an Orcs-013 Gundam MK5. I really want one, and I really want to review it. Okay, and there you have it. But let's see if there's any notable pilots for this unit here. Okay, so the one that I can find is Robert Aldrin, Sheen Kripp, John Grissom. Those are pilots that is not well known, so I'm not even gonna check it out. Okay, so aside from the history of the FAZZ here, this were actually developed into a couple of units, and some of those units that were developed into is the FA-010E Full Armor Double Zeta Gundam Final Testbed. Yep, and it's actually quite badass. Bandai, please release that kit. And the Full Armor Double Zeta Gundam and the G striker. That's it. Okay, that was actually quite fun talking about this unit. The completion time for this kit took me about a week and a half, give or take maybe about 8 hours overall building this kit. Yeah, and every night for the last 5 days I've actually added 1 hour each. Yeah, wow. Okay, there you have it. Thank you, and thank you so much for watching this first section of the video. The second section will start right now. Okay, so before going to the next phase of this video here, I'm gonna show you guys the mobility. I was actually very hesitant doing the testing here because I'm afraid that a few things might fall off. But let's go ahead, shall we? And I'll just fix the situation if anything falls off. Okay, so first off is the arm here. Okay, there's the mobility there. The problem is this part here. It's actually not tight, it's loose. There's a polycap there, rubbery material. We'll put that aside, okay? So this is the mobility of the arms here. And the weapon here can get loose. And then the hands can be moved. That's how far it's gonna go. And since the peg is too short, every time you move it, it will fall off. Okay. Well, fall off to a certain degree. Okay, the next part is the cannon here. Now, the cannon is already attached into, let's see here, 2 areas. So, one in the waist area here, the one I'm pulling out. The other one is at the backpack area here. So, and then the hand ain't actually secure. Yeah. Okay, so you can move the arm just as the other one, but the weapon one, the weapon base, it falls off. I'm not surprised if this part is already loose here. Okay, let's okay, so let's take this off here for a second. Okay, there we go. And let's take off the weapon itself into total. Okay, yeah. Yep, fell apart. Oh well. Okay. This one is actually fitted quite tightly. Okay, there we go. Now this is the back area, the waist area here. So there's a connector for the back. That's what makes this solid. But the armor here is loose. It's actually not well secure. Now let's put this back in, shall we? Now putting back in, let's see. It's a little bit loose here. There's the waist area there. Hopefully you guys can see it. Okay, I'll over here, attachment for the waist. But even without properly putting it in, it's not solid but placed enough. Okay, let's remove the beam rifle here, okay? Hopefully you can, okay. Simple removal. Now the other parts are here in the plastic here, but I'm not gonna use that. We'll focus on the mobility of this kit. Now the legs for the armor can be moved, but the waist area will fall off. If you're going to be customizing it, you need to increase the length of this peg here. Okay. Otherwise, it can only go this far. Okay. This is what it looks like right now. So for the back here, okay, there's two areas here. Hopefully you guys can see it. Let's point it out. There's a polycap here, and there's a peg here. It's supposed to attach. Okay, let's to the back side. Here, there's another polycap here. And there's a peg here for the backpack. Okay, so this is gonna be the headache part. Okay, ignore the peg here that I mentioned earlier. The actual peg is here to attach to the back. The polycap is attached, so it's supposed to go in place. So you're actually gonna have to push it a little bit, put some pressure in. You may actually have to remove this for now to actually just get it in place. And there's parts falling off already. I'm actually positioned right now that is not really comfortable, and this video is taking too long. Okay, so practically the backside is heavy, and it's gonna take a while for me to put everything back in place. But overall, that is the armor. So legs, you can actually turn it. Oops. We'll leave that aside. You can bend it and possibly make it kneel, but it's gonna be very hard. You're gonna have to customize this kit, and I'm not kidding. If you want to make this more mobile, make it look badass, you will have to put a lot of work in this kit here. Okay, well, let's start phase 2 of this vid. Wow. Okay, hopefully you guys enjoyed that assembly of mine. Wasn't that easy, to tell you the truth, but it was quite nice. Okay, so this is MG FAZZ without the armor, and as you guys can see, this is actually Double Zeta itself. Certain parts had been changed, added an armor, given a new name practically. So this MG FAZZ is a variant of Double Zeta. Now funny thing is we do have, I'm not too sure, don't quote me on this, but I believe we do have a complete set of conversion parts with the frame to convert the MG FAZZ into Double Zeta, which is really nice. And just to prove it, here it is. Yep, you get the complete, well, not the complete head because you're going to be missing the visor, but overall you get the complete headpiece of Double Zeta here. And other parts, here we even have the pieces for the foot to convert it, which is really nice. Well, I do prefer to have it in armor mode and be on top of my D12 glass case right over there. Right beside my Mega Char Zaku. But yeah, it's actually quite nice that you get that extra parts. And since this is just double zeta partially modified, this actually have a transformation mode. As you guys can see in the picture, it actually have the booster here. Now, if with the armor, without the armor, you're still gonna have a mobility issue here. It can stand, but to a specific degree. You're gonna have trouble posing it, and it's actually back heavy. That's why I kind of got this positioned this way. Okay, not bad at all. Now, just for the heck of it, I actually got the double beam rifle here. And let's pull this out. Oh, yeah, easily. There we go. Okay. Well, since that happened, let's just get this guy to stand then. But yeah, it's actually really nice. The rocket pods are still here. But, well, one thing I do know is, since I don't know if 100% if I got all the conversion parts, we don't have that huge beam saber that double zeta have. Okay, so hopefully you guys got like this review. If you guys got any suggestions, any comments, leave it in the comment section. I'm gonna be building XS next, Master Grade XS, and it's actually gonna be fun. Okay, like, comment, and subscribe. This is Brian C signing out for this video. Really good building this. Took me over a week and a half. Okay, see you guys later.